Before every season, teams spend countless hours preparing players for media interviews, teaching them to give safe answers that create the image of a united locker room. Players are expected to support their teammates, praise the coaching staff, and share responsibility for every setback. But there are moments when frustration becomes impossible to hide. Sometimes a superstar reaches a point where carrying the burden of a struggling organization becomes too much, and the truth starts to come out. Welcome back to WNBA Time. Today we're breaking down one of the most talked about and revealing post-game press conferences in Indiana Fever history. We'll examine the moment Caitlin Clark appeared ready to stop shielding the mistakes of those around her, raising serious questions about her teammates, the coaching staff, and the direction of the franchise. For anyone to understand the impact of what was said after the game, they first need to understand what happened on the court. The Indiana Fever didn't simply struggle against the Chicago Sky. They put on a performance that exposed many of the issues that have continued to follow this team. On paper, this game should have ended comfortably in Indiana's favor. The Fever built a huge 19-point lead, a position that normally allows a team to control the pace, protect the basketball, use the clock wisely, and force the opponent into difficult half-court possessions. Instead of staying disciplined and finishing the job, the Fever lost control of the game, allowing the Sky to climb back into the contest and turning what should have been a routine victory into a frustrating and avoidable collapse that raised serious concerns about the team's execution and coaching decisions. The Indiana Fever gave their fans a frustrating display filled with mistakes, poor decisions, and costly turnovers from experienced players. As the game slipped away, the team's offensive system fell apart. Players stopped following the game plan, rushed difficult shots early in possessions, and committed careless turnovers during key fast break opportunities. It was the type of undisciplined basketball that can ruin a team's chances of winning important games. Making matters even worse, the Fever had no answer defensively for Sydney Taylor, a reserve player who had seen very limited playing time in her previous game, yet erupted for 30 points. The performance left many observers stunned.
Press conference has been released, and we're going to look at it, and we're going to super dissect it, because I need somewhat of an explanation. How the hell do you blow a 19-point lead? That's bad in itself, but give up 25 points, well, give up 30 points to a bench, not just to any bench, to one bench player. You give up 30 points to one bench player that played 3 minutes in her last game. Bro, Sydney Taylor.
A 19-point lead doesn't disappear by accident. It usually happens when a team loses its focus and fails to respond when momentum starts shifting. As the game began slipping away, there were growing questions about the adjustments being made from the sidelines and whether enough was being done to regain control. Although the Fever eventually escaped with an overtime victory, thanks largely to the outstanding performances of Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, the win did not feel completely satisfying. Instead, it felt like a game that nearly got away despite having every opportunity to be put away much earlier. That set the stage for the post-game press conference. When Caitlin Clark sat down beside Aaliyah Boston, many expected the usual comments about teamwork, resilience, and moving forward. Instead, Clark took a more direct approach. When asked about the dramatic swings throughout the game, she avoided the typical post-game cliches and offered an honest assessment of the team's performance. Her comments reflected the high standards she holds for herself and her teammates, making it one of the most talked-about moments of the night.
It was a game of runs, but I felt like it was a game of extreme runs. It was we were down 6, then we were up 6, then they were up 6. So that's a 12-point turn, and I felt like that was consistently happening. So I think for us, still the areas for us to grow are, once we have somebody put away, keep it that way. Yep. And obviously.
Did Caitlin Clark just call out her team? Caitlin Clark says, whenever we got somebody put away, let's keep it.
When Caitlin Clark said, once we have a team put away, we need to keep it that way, it stood out as one of the most honest comments of the night. It was more than a simple observation. It was a clear message about the mistakes, turnovers, and lack of execution that nearly cost the Fever the game. Clark stressed that the team must do a better job protecting the basketball and finishing games when they have control. Her comments reflected frustration with repeated errors that allow opponents to climb back into contests. What made the moment so notable was how direct it was. Young stars rarely speak so openly about team shortcomings, especially after a win. The reaction in the room showed that her words carried weight. Sitting beside her was Aaliyah Boston, who had just delivered a career-best 34-point performance, and even she appeared to recognize the seriousness of Clark's assessment. It was a moment that highlighted both the high standards Clark expects and the growing pressure on the team to clean up the issues that continue to surface.
Caitlin's talking. She's sick of it. She's sick of it. Caitlin said, when we got some, look at Aaliyah Boston looking at her. Look at Aaliyah Boston looking at her. Caitlin, oh my God, I can't believe you just threw the whole team under the bus. Oh, you damn Skippy. I'm throwing everybody under the bus. This was ridiculous.
Clark's comments were viewed by many as a strong message to the entire team. After watching the same mistakes appear repeatedly, she made it clear that higher standards are needed if the Fever want to reach their potential. Her frustration did not seem limited to what happened on the court between the players. Another interesting moment came when the discussion turned to head coach Stephanie White. During the third quarter, as the game became increasingly chaotic, White was assessed a technical foul after showing visible frustration. Many fans had been asking for that kind of energy for weeks, hoping to see stronger reactions in defense of the team during difficult stretches. When Clark was asked about the impact of the technical foul, her response was measured and respectful, but it also caught the attention of many observers. While she acknowledged the passion and intensity behind the moment, some felt her answer carried a deeper message about leadership, accountability.
In that third quarter, you and Steph pick up some text, but it seemed like the team responded after that. What did that maybe do to kind of ignite you all and get out of that lull?
Yeah, I mean, I was glad to see Steph get a technical. And she said the ref was soft. She said she thought she didn't deserve it, but yeah.
I would like to see Stephanie White keep the same energy when Caitlin Clark don't get her calls. Let's see Stephanie get a tech for arguing with a ref for Caitlin. Can we see that? Can we see that?
When the conversation shifted to Stephanie White's technical foul, Caitlin Clark's response quickly became a major talking point. Clark said she was happy to see the emotion and energy from her coach, and many people viewed that comment as carrying a deeper meaning. For weeks, fans had been calling for stronger reactions from the sidelines, especially during moments when they felt key calls were not going the team's way. Clark's remarks were interpreted by some as an acknowledgement that visible passion from a coach can have a powerful effect on a team's mindset and intensity. She explained that when a coach shows that level of emotion, it can energize the players and create a stronger competitive edge on the court. The moment sparked discussion about leadership, communication, and the role a coach plays in setting the tone during difficult stretches of a game. Whether people agreed with the interpretation or not, Clark's comments added another layer to an already memorable press conference and highlighted the high standards she expects from everyone around her. Clark's comments reflected a deep understanding of how momentum, emotion, and leadership can influence a basketball game. Many observers felt she was emphasizing the importance of coaches setting the tone when a team faces adversity. Later, when Stephanie White addressed the media, she was asked about the team's ongoing struggles with protecting large leads. White pointed to issues such as consistency, focus, and maintaining urgency throughout the game. She also highlighted communication within the team as a positive takeaway, despite the challenges they faced. The difference between the two press conferences quickly became a major topic of discussion. While Clark focused on execution, ball security, and closing out games more effectively, White concentrated on broader team habits and effort. That contrast created two very different perspectives on the same game. One side centered on correcting mistakes and raising standards, while the other emphasized maintaining composure and continuing to work through the team's issues. The discussion highlighted the growing expectations surrounding the Fever and the pressure to turn talent and potential into consistent results on the court. On one side of the conversation, there was a player focused on the details, frustrated by mistakes, and determined to push the team toward a higher standard. Rather than being satisfied with the final.
Let's pull it up. States Caitlin Clark extends her record for most 30-point, 10-plus assist games in WNBA history, moving up to 3. Next closest is 4 players with 1. 1, guys. She also extends her record for most 25-plus point games plus 10 assist games in WNBA history, moving up to 8. Next closest is Sabrina Ionescu with 5. She also extends her record for most 20 points, 10 assist games in
Caitlin Clark continues to achieve milestones at a pace that has drawn attention throughout the league, reaching accomplishments early in her career that many players spend years pursuing. Alongside Aaliyah Boston, she helped make history by becoming part of the first teammate duo in WNBA history to record 30-point double-doubles in the same game. Their performance showcased the incredible talent currently on the Indiana Fever roster and highlighted the potential of one of the league's most dangerous player combinations. However, talent alone is not enough to guarantee long-term success. Teams also need strong leadership, smart decision-making, and a commitment to accountability in critical moments. Much of the discussion surrounding the Fever centers on whether the team is maximizing the abilities of its star players and putting them in the best position to succeed. Clark's post-game comments were interpreted by many as a sign of her competitive mindset and desire to see the team reach a higher level. Rather than settling for wins that expose recurring problems, she appeared focused on addressing the issues that could become bigger obstacles down the road. For many observers, her message was clear. The talent is there, but turning that talent into sustained success will require sharper execution, stronger leadership, and a greater sense of urgency from everyone involved. The Indiana Fever now face important questions about their future direction. The talent on the roster is undeniable, but talent alone cannot overcome recurring issues with execution, consistency, and game management. As expectations continue to rise, so does the pressure to make sure the team's performance matches its potential. Much of the attention has centered on Caitlin Clark's competitive mindset and her willingness to address problems even after a victory. Her post-game comments sparked discussion because they reflected a player who expects excellence and is unwilling to overlook mistakes simply because the team won. The larger debate is whether the organization can raise its overall level to match the standards set by its biggest stars. Fans, analysts, and observers continue to watch closely as the season unfolds, looking for signs of growth and improvement. One thing is clear. Expectations surrounding the Fever have never been higher, and every game is bringing greater scrutiny to how the team responds to challenges. This is WNBA time, where we look beyond the final score and focus on the decisions, performances, and storylines shaping the league. If you enjoy in-depth basketball analysis and honest discussion about the biggest moments in the WNBA, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts below. Do you agree with Caitlin Clark's comments about the team's execution, and what changes do you think Indiana needs to make moving forward?